Hello and welcome back. I'm going to show you now following on from my modern adaptation of a stiff hinge as such. This is just my basic combi rig I use. This is with the blowback function, again using the micro rig ring, but now I'm using a longshank hook. This is a size 8 longshank. It's micro barbed. Now you got to be careful when you go fishing. You know, you can't be fishing with barbed if it's too risky. These are micro, but even then, when I get to the bank, these will get crimped back with a pair of pliers. It just won't. It won't make a difference then. So right, basic is I'm using a real. If you can see that, sort of reaction there. That is Korda's IQ2 stiff fluorocarbon. So fluorocarbon's quite. It's quite invisible in the water. Once that's sat in water, it's very hard to see. So what you're trying to accomplish now is, if you imagine here, you have a snowman effect. So you have a bottom bait, and it's popped up with either corn or it popped up with an actual pop-up bait. Then what happens is, as that takes, if you see, it hits the stiff part. It's the stiff boom of the rig, and it adds just that little bit there. That little bit of resistance, you can see it there, a little bit of resistance, that's enough. Add on top of that, you've got, rather than have sort of a fixed hair rig, you're sort of sliding this up and down. So this rig ring here is allowing the bait to slide up and down, just makes that a little bit harder for the carp to eject it. I've gone for a long hair here, I always do. You've got to remember, you put in a bottom bait and possibly like a mixture of a bottom bait and a pop-up. Whether you go for complete round circles, some people like they skim a bit off the top of the bottom bait, and they skim a bit off the bottom of the pop-up, so it's almost like a number 8. But it's entirely up to you. You've got to do that as how that suits you. So as I say, what I'm using here is Korda IQ2 fluorocarbon, stiff fluorocarbon. This is their N trap. Soft braid, completely stripped. I've took the coating off. I'm using a Korda long shank hook. Again, it's micro barbed with a rig ring, and again, I don't kink this too much. I just like that little bit of edge on there. I just like that little bit of turn on it. Nothing too drastic. I certainly don't want it going the other way. That just holds the knot down. Gotta be careful, keep sticking my finger. But that is your basic. That is a combi rig with a blowback function. What I do is, basically, when you're tying your supple braid to your IQ2 fluorocarbon, I use an Albright knot. If you Google search online, Albright knots, they're a little bit tricky at first, but once you master them, once you get used to it, it will definitely be a good knot to use. And then what I do is, some people put they tend to put like a little bit of putty over the top of this, and I'm just a little bit OCD, so I do stick some tungsten putty on this, but I've covered it first. If you notice, I have put some very thin shrink tubing on. So although it's not quite, although it's a bit too big for the braid and obviously the fluorocarbon, it goes around, it shrinks around that knot perfectly. Then what I'll do is that just adds that stiff boom there. Then what I'll do is I'll roll a little bit of putty over the top of that, just around the knot bit there, still leaving this little stiff end of that shrink tubing out. That's just how I like to have it. You know, you don't have to do that. You can just put the putty straight over the knot if you want. But this is just me. It's just my OCD for it. This is it's a really good rig to use. It's very aggressive again, say, because the suppleness allows the bait to move, and then as soon as it hits that boom, it just puts a little bit of resistance on it, flicks it back. So that there is your basic combi rig. This will sit obviously on the bottom, and the idea is where this hair comes off, the bait then sits and goes up from it. It doesn't come out. This doesn't rise. You don't want this. You don't want this sitting up off the bottom. That's one thing you don't want. You don't want this popping up like that off it. You want it so basically this bottom bait is being held to the floor. It almost sits alongside the shank of the hook. It sits there just by the rig ring. So if you can see what I'm trying to imitate there, it moves. Let me see if I can do it a bit better. So you've got the bait there, and you can almost see it sliding up and down. That's just a blowback feature there. And then obviously the hair is coming upwards. It's sitting up because the bait's there. So you've got your bottom bait next to it, and then you just want your little tiny pop up or however you buy it on top. That's the ideal. It's best just to try in the margin first, or if you've got like a clear tub or a testing box, see how it sits. Definitely see how it sits first before you throw it out. The last thing you want is doubt. But again, this is a tried and tested rig. This is not my rig. This is a well-known rig. But I thought I'd just show you this video. A little bit easy how to tie it. Standard knotless knot around the hook. So you tie in your hair. Comes down. Measure your boilies. So put your boilies on how you want them, and then you tie. Once you know how long you want this hair, you then tie the rig ring just about, I would say, about 3 to 4 mil away from the boilie, like that. So you tie the rig ring on, and then carry on with the soft braid. Carry on with the soft braid straight down the shank of the hook, in, down, couple of turns, knotless knot, back up and out, and then say just cover it over with a bit of shrink tubing and just like shrink it, try and kink it just a little slight bit. Again, you get to the business end here. All bright knot, put it tight, secure it, cut off the tag ends. You can just, like I say, blow a bit of putty straight on top of that, or do what I do, put a bit of shrink tubing on it. But you want to be using a stiff fluorocarbon. This Korda IQ2 is absolutely fantastic. It is so stiff, it's unbelievable. So that's what you've got to remember as well. Your basic knot strength when you get to this end here. That doesn't look very strong, but I can guarantee you it is. This is just a basic overhand knot, but this won't go. I can pull this and it will not give. Considering fluorocarbon can have quite poor knot strength, that is quite good. You could, if you're not sure and you don't like this. I mean, this is just the way I fish, but you can always do a Palomar knot onto a swivel. Okay, I just put it onto a quick chain swivel, so that just links on, and then I'll have a rubber sleeve that'll go up and over it anyway, and I'll hold it on. But that's it. Okay, guys.